Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. The politics, economics, ecology of community. Yeah, community brings back the ecology also. And this is day 12 of all that. But I'm coming to wrapping up this series because things need to move on in this year. And things are falling into place. I'm encouraged. Even in my own sense of being able to do it, I'm to a place where I can finally write these things down because I've been holding out. I want to write a strategy document, not an opinion piece, not a thesis. And I'm looking to find allies and collaborators. And I'm coming down to the last few. This series has almost been a live brainstorm on a flash on a couple of key missing pieces to be able to visualize the whole thing. It still has gaps. It still is a whole thing of sequential things depending on each other to happen. But I can see it now in more detail aspects of how things could transform organically. But part of the message is that it needs to happen with really intentionally focused, clear, above board motives and everything explained, not in a paranoid fashion, which means you can't be pointing fingers. The pointing fingers thing is just doesn't get you past a total stasis, and we don't have time for that, even if it was accurate to whatever extent. And it's not accurate because we are one, even if it looks like we've been fighting each other for so long. And I'm finally seeing how, because I've always seen, it always felt like it was a natural that the majority of people just want to make things work. And why wouldn't that prevail? Well, because a minority succeeded at this system, which is already geared towards hierarchy. It kind of incentivizes a hierarchy, so that it would only be a minority key. The whole thing about everyone having agency, that was true in the tribal days, but as soon as it went empire, even kingdom or nation, as soon as it got to be a big tribe, you start having hierarchy. You can chart this if you stay grounded in anthropology. Let's discount for the moment Anuka and all these other draconian stories of galactic weirdness. We got enough weirdness on our own planet. Not to discount all of that energy because it's sort of just metaphoric. The Anukai is metaphoric for wanting a slave labor to mine their gold. And the Draconians are metaphoric for our warring tendencies. Is that not enough? So what if they're really out there? It doesn't make a difference. You want to say the motherships are metaphoric for the idea that we could have a higher civilization that really works? Do we need to take it past that? The fact is, I don't know that as far as what we're able to do, that's as much as we need to know. Because if you're looking to them to help us through this, or if you're looking for the Draconians to fight against in the form of elites now, I guess, you're just not really grasping the fullness of the moment, both strategically and in terms of your own personal life, how you could be learning from all this. And whether or not you believe in spirit and karma, there's a reality about the fact that we have collective issues. You want to call that karma? We have collective responsibilities we're not facing. And now we're at a place where it's connected globally and the whole thing's going up or down globally. And so the case is made to everyone on the block, including the elites, Putin, and the same way Trump's offering start a League of Peace. Isn't that funny? Get over your Trump syndrome, people. He's the cartoon character we need right there at the time to pull all these outside the box, intuitive, what do you call it, disruptor moves. And the three-sided global peace arrangement he's trying to engineer geopolitically, he's not so much engineering it as, it's already ready to happen. It's the thing that needs to fall into place. That's why you want to prop up Putin to some extent. So he holds the third pole between China, Russia, the United States. Everyone else can fit into a neutralizing alliance between all three of those. There's already natural alliances. Just I'm being for a minute getting real geopolitically. You don't want one side winning over the other. You don't want one side dominating the whole world becomes fascism. You can't do anything outside the institutions. You don't want two of them fighting each other, us versus China. That's what would happen if you're going to keep fighting Putin, or if you let him crash. It would be the United States and Europe versus China and Putin, okay? And you don't want that because that's war. That's World War III. You could have a détente of three. That's where the détente is. Okay, let's put that aside. Please put the Trump derangement syndrome aside. Please put the left to right versus right aside. Please put the activists versus elites aside. The elites are going to do what they're doing. Everybody's going to do what they're doing. Everybody's locked into current systems until things start happening outside the box. Well, guess what? There's a lot of things already happening outside the box, but not enough outside the box to start breaking the paradigm of for-profit, us versus them. And that's free market. Another free market arrangement would be not so much for-profit, but still keeping the books, something more like for sustenance or for providing. And instead of competitive, and it would be cooperative. It's still free market. But the elites aren't going to figure out how to do this. They're busy holding on to this system, which is falling apart because it's too backstabby, and you can't have coherence when everybody's in it for themselves. And it follows random trends that profit for a minute, and there's so much distraction, and there's so much overwork, and people are so crazy and covering their butts when they could be more secure in the fact that we really are working together to keep it going, but we're having to overproduce to take care of everybody's insecurities in this system that doesn't recognize our interconnectedness. I made another thesis out of it. I'm trying to get to the last, but yeah, it's important because I'm trying to get to a proposal. Let's make this practical. This is January. I keep putting the date on it because things are moving that fast. And I'm at a place where I've connected with people in Uganda and Kenya, especially Uganda, just now after the elections. Man got himself elected for the 7th time, but meanwhile, there's a lot of tension. But there's and Kenya as well. In Homa Bay, I guess there's less politics in Kenya, but there's a permaculture movement trying to get back to sustainability, self-sustainability as communities. But they're also dealing with the refugees from the Congo, which has to do with all the metal and all the minerals that are going for all the high tech that's being overmined because people are just trying to sell a new gadget every day instead of intelligent use of very sophisticated, delicate equipment that takes all the slave labor to get to. So the same people are being then you got, in other words, do we have to get into all the what do you call it, cognitive dissonance, personal disconnects, people that profiteer off all that and then are liberal about we need to donate to the refugees in Africa? No, you just the whole high-tech thing from that it's a big disconnect. It's the economy that does this to us though. And so liberals are strangely not, and I'm from I'm a utopian. It goes past all you guys. But strategic and practical utopian, which means we can do it if we work together for real on the ground using right-wing principles of business practices that make sense. But then you have to have the left-wing values that everybody counts as if they were and those are going back to Christian values, if we were all children of God. But then, that's the left to talk about that, or a lot of them are agnostic or even atheists. And this is so much flipping back and forth. Cut the bullshit, kids. It made sense when we were tribes, members, and families, and we had a more intuitive connection to spirit. Now we're trying to have a more fine-tuned connection to all of that, but stay on top of it. And where it got crazy is where it's not personal. How can you bring it back? You're working with people. That's your business. I already now I got into the whole thing. This one got abstract. We're close to being able to do it. Uh, no, maybe I'm trying to get to phrases that might fit into the new. I put this into a proposal. Yeah, let me get practical here in the last 5 minutes. We're at a place where in Kenya and Uganda, they have crisis and they're trying to raise money quick. And the fastest money to come up on all this is what I've just been alluding to, donation money. Supposedly, I have a couple of partners, and I've been going to church. I dropped in on church a month before the Charlie Kirk uprising of Christian energies as a general spiritual, but I understand Christian and it's true. A lot of that's real. Stop pointing fingers. Just do what you know. Don't be slow. Wherever you're coming from, please. Didn't mean that aside. But that's where there's an angle on trying to talk to donation money, and instead of just throw money at orphanages or NGOs that a lot of them have lost their funding, rightfully, because they were scams. A lot of them were scams, but they have lost some of their funding, and some of my friends in Uganda are getting less food money that I'm paying for now because they're really good people and I know them. And because of them, I have a sense of urgency that hasn't quite hit these shores in this way, but is going to. And it's that if we can be ahead of it, it would be better. The fact that these guys are scrounging for their food, and so they're asking for money for permaculture farms, and start. I'm saying throw in whatever other workshops you need to start establishing as much as possible a basic self-sufficient hamlet as a fractal of a larger community village that gets closer to self-sufficient. And you can start to reweave a local economy that gets out from under the grip of the down pressure, if you want to put it that way, but you don't have to, because the global economy has all these benefits. Okay, it needs to be balanced by resource basing. And again, it could be a hybrid economy where whatever some things that are might seem frivolous, leave that to do whatever they want. Plus, this isn't going to happen by anybody convincing anybody. So a lot of things are going to keep moving along until they change by incentives and actions. There's still 98% of the people that would be moved by more intelligent use and closer to community. All right, this one got a little rambly, but again, we're getting to a place where I'm going to try to put this on paper. And the strategy is, where possible, you make a community-based business. You have to describe what that means. What are the principles of community-based? As I say, you're going for sustenance instead of profit, providing, but strategically, you're lashing together cooperative resource-based, grounded companies and ventures. And you can't do this all at once, so there's a strategy about how to start doing it. But there's many approaches, and the idea is you're trying to shift a paradigm that nobody knows how that is, and it's very complex. So I've always had the thought that you're also approaching it with music and art and culture and old traditions of oneness and connecting back to nature. The ecology of community means that we treat the ecology the way we treat each other. And if we were to treat each other as community, we'd understand how to treat ecology as community. And there's a business that corresponds to this more enlightened way. And it would prosper because it would be less wasteful and it would be more wholesome and more rewarding for all participants. So things could slow down. And once you get to a place where you're producing to provide as opposed to for a profit, then you're not making things that nobody needs or wants. But that doesn't mean that you have plenty of motivation to continue all the sciences and all the research into different things, but perhaps less feverish. I hate these constant updates, and all they are is kind of trying to pre-think you, God damn it, slow down, relax. We're already so super connected. And a lot of this is advertising, trying to sell you things you don't even ever thought you wanted or needed, because people need to have currency. But real currency dissolves in a crashing resource. But if you have connection to real resource as cooperative owners of the resource-based company, that's real money. Okay, that's one of the other ways to get into people's heads. One of them is as a wiser consumer use app, where you're reaping the benefits of communities surrounding different industries that have done the real research. And as a consumer, you start doing wise use consumer. But the other one is the thought about money, people. Money's not real unless it's connected to usable resource. Everybody's buying gold and silver. If we keep it in this global, disconnected, you can't trust anything economy, you need something like that, hard currency, even digital currency. You trust in everybody. The only thing that's real is credit in a network of really resource-grounded cooperative ventures and cooperative co-op ownership or